Welcome to the More Podcast with Ava and Najee, where we are manifesting original rich-bixch experiences. Each week, we bring you travel reviews, wellness advice, and general millennial musings with a level of refinement. What level? It fucking depends. Hey Najee, how are you?
I am doing great, loving life. How are you, Ava?
Also loving life, doing great. Super excited to celebrate you this week because somebody is a birthday boy.
Hi. Yes, darling. Today, September 21st, is the day I was born 32 years ago. So I'm still here. I'm still
Yes.
kicking, and we're happy to be here.
You're not only are you still here, you are thriving.
Yes, making it happen, Captain. Still, I rise. It's still Virgo season, baby, and we're going out strong.
We are really going out strong. Well, in looking at the calendar, we realized that our pod was coming out on your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, but I'm a big birthday person. Like, for me, if my loved ones don't acknowledge my birthday, you're dead to me. I think
That's so
birthdays,
funny.
it's true though. Like, birthdays are such a great moment to just celebrate the existence of people that you love,
Yeah.
therefore, making it the
hmm
best
hmm
holiday.
Agreed. I mean, I don't know if you're dead to me, but I do keep a running list of my very, very close friends and family members. And anyone who doesn't call or text, I will give them an extra day to call or text. And then on the 23rd, I'll start making phone calls.
You're judging.
That I did it last year. I kid you not. Everybody on my list last year, except my baby brother, called me and my best friend. So I called them both.
Wait, so what's the process? What do you say when you call the people on your list of non birthday wishers?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So, I basically just inquire about their life because maybe something's going on in their life that they can't revolve it around me for, that one particular day. I
Okay.
understand life happens. So I just ask the question, how are you? How have you been? How's your week going? And if I don't get any indication that they've had some type of life altering event, then I'm going in for the kill. My birthday was a couple days ago. What happened?
Woo!
I'm just saying. Like I said, I am not like a huge birthday person, but I
Hmm.
do love being acknowledged by those who I'm very close with.
Yeah,
And you know what? If I am thinking about you enough to call you out for not celebrating me, I mean, that says I'm thinking about you.
it
Hello.
does.
I'm just
It
saying.
does. Okay. So I never want to be on the receiving end of one of those calls. So just making a note, sounds like we're on the same page here with the birthday. And
Absolutely.
so we figured, let's make it a podcast tradition. So, what we're going to do for birthdays is every year on your birthday and on my birthday, we're going to dedicate an episode to reflecting on our year, sharing exciting experiences, the lessons we learned, and also future casting and identifying some rich bitch experiences that we want to manifest in the year ahead. So
Hmm.
let's get into it. And I can't wait to hear how your year has been. So, what, Najee, are some of your most memorable experiences from this year of life, hashtag livin'? And what have you learned that you can share with the rest of us?
Really, really great questions. So I have three kind of major anchors that I would probably categorize my year as. I mean,
Okay.
to be honest, if I had to describe this year of life for me in one word, I think I would probably say self-discovery was a major theme overall. When I
Mm-hmm.
was reflecting, I realized that this was actually my first full year as a fully single person,
Mm,
probably in my adult life, to be honest. In a way, yeah. I don't need to
mm-hmm.
go too far into detail about that, but it was really, really interesting when I realized that, like, not a ton happened this year, But I would say one of the things that really kind of helped shape this year, and I would probably say the first thing was when I was trying to buy a home.
Mm,
I started that
okay.
process around my birthday last year in the DC area. And anyone that knows the DC area knows that it's probably one of the most expensive real estate areas in the nation. So it was pretty difficult. I learned a lot and ended up pivoting away from that. But it really kind of made me proud of myself that I had taken the steps to actually try something new and put myself out there. And again, shout out to my really, really good friend and realtor, Devon, who was so patient with me. And we went on so many like home visits just to check out places for it
Mm,
to like not work out. But
mm,
I think there is beauty in things not working out and being able to pivot away from that.
yeah, that's so interesting. So you were looking at places in DC, you're ready to commit, you're ready to buy, which is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't find what you were looking for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how has that changed now, either like what you're looking for or what you're working towards, or where's your mindset on that now?
Well, I think my mindset overall has pivoted a little bit. Of course, I think home ownership is still a major goal for me, definitely. And just because it
Hmm.
didn't happen at 31 didn't doesn't mean that it won't happen at 32 or 33. But another thing that I'm really focused on, especially going into this next year, is just being able to create and sustain additional streams of income. Another thing that is heavy on my mind right now are ways of achieving entrepreneurship, getting into that solarpreneurship mindset, and being able to sustain myself and my lifestyle by myself and not having to rely on a company or a job because those things come and go. And corporate life can be very fickle, as we all know. So
Hmm.
I am very, very invested in finding something that works for me because there's
Yeah.
so many ways to go about this process. And I mean, you know it. You've kind of started your business from the ground up, and there's just an abundance of different ways to approach it. So it's just really kind of dwindling down all the options and really trying to figure out something that works for me. So I've been working on that for the past year a little bit, but I'm
Hmm.
really, really focused on it for this coming year. So I'm excited about that.
That's exciting. Yeah, I would. I got into home ownership quite early in life, for just a variety of random reasons. Actually, it came together, but it's interesting. Just when you said entrepreneurship, I wanted to mention like it's easier to get a mortgage loan when you have a corporate employer because like one of the big things they look for obviously is that like steady year after year income. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I left that world, I wasn't even able to like refinance my own mortgage because now like they're viewing my employment status as like undesirable or unsteady, if you will. And
Mm-hmm.
so they wanted me to have like 2 years of history in even being a solopreneur before they would touch it again. So that was something that I'll just add because I didn't like, I wasn't even thinking about any of that when I made the switch. But it is just interesting how like the very like traditional mortgage industry is like really still hell bent on a lot of those like very classical employment and income situations. So
Absolutely.
that's not fun.
Absolutely.
But
It's
where
not.
do you see yourself living? I'm so curious. So you're going to buy in DC, but where do you want to look?
I'm open to looking in DC, definitely. I'm open to looking down here in Atlanta. And I was gonna say Philly, but I just keep something in the back of my mind keeps reminding myself that that chapter of my life is closed.
Mm,
So, axe that. DC and Atlanta are probably my two focuses as
hmm.
far as actually like purchasing for the first time.
Got it.
Family
Okay.
in DC, family down here, so it just makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Are we going to throw this on your manifestations list for next year?
Yeah, let's add it to the list.
Okay. We'll add
We'll
it to the
definitely add
list.
it to the list. It's on the vision board.
It's on the vision board. I love that. Okay. So the first big experience, the lesson is going through that process, finding out maybe it wasn't the right timing, and just being okay with things not working out because that does give you, to your point, like a whole new level of information. And it just kind of gives you that reset in terms of like maybe rethinking what you thought you wanted or maybe where you want it to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
trusting that the universe has your back.
I mean, I love having conversations about learning lessons when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to, I don't want to say failure, I want to say having to retool when something
Mm,
doesn't work out. Because it's a part of life. It's a part of life. It's part of the trials and tribulations that we deal with every day. And I think it's not something that's talked about often. So, I mean, in the future, I'm trying to get better with failing often and failing loudly, and that's something that kind of recurs whenever I'm reading a lot of like books on entrepreneurship or wealth management and building and things of that nature. So just
mm-hmm.
again, trying to put myself out there a little bit more and just kind of talk about my experiences because you never know what other knowledge you might be able to get from it.
That's true. I love that for you.
Thanks. Okay, so my second major experience that anchored my 31st year of life, and this is something that anchors pretty much every year of life, that always comes up because Ava, typically I do these reflections around New Year's, so I'm doing it a little earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say traveling is another kind of experience that always kind of anchors my years. It's a very, very frequent theme that I've seen come up for years and years now.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I've had the pleasure of traveling to Miami, Dallas, Houston, Switzerland, Croatia, and back to the UK, and just having very, very amazing experiences in each city, either reconnecting with old friends, meeting new friends, or doing both.
Yeah.
So that's something I always, always never want to take for granted because I think it's something that allows me to expand my horizons, have a lot of fun, and see things from a new perspective. Um, I don't know. It was just a really, really great time. Like my Miami trip that happened back in November was absolutely insane. It's a story that I absolutely love telling, which I might have told you before, but I'll tell it to you again.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So this was around Thanksgiving,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going to be flying from DC to Atlanta to spend Thanksgiving with my mom and my sister, who was also going to be flying down to Atlanta. One of my really, really great friends, Brian, actually was planning a congratulatory brunch for his boyfriend that recently got like a really, really great new job. So I know Brian's boyfriend, I know his friends, and I was like, yeah, I'll come down there and party. It's going to be great. I flew down to Miami early on Saturday, I believe it was. It was the same day of the brunch. So we had gone to Brian's Airbnb, chilled for a little bit, ended up picking up his brother. His boyfriend was already there. And then we went to his best friend's house for the brunch.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, while we were getting ready in the Airbnb, Brian's boyfriend offered me an edible.
Mm-hmm.
And me being the enlightened, responsible person that I am, knowing that I've had several not great experiences with edibles, I declined. I said, hey, edibles
Mm-hmm.
don't really work for me, don't want to get too crazy. Thanks, but no thanks.
Okay.
While we were in the car, Brian had like literally a swig of juice with THC in it. When I say a swig, it was literally like a corner. You know, when like you're living with your family and someone drunk all your juice and left like a corner, and then you go get it and say, who left this corner in?
Okay.
That's how much juice it was in it. A very little bit.
Uh,
He said, "Do you want to try it?" I said, "Sure, why not?" I drank that little swig. We get to the brunch. It hits hard.
okay.
Brian's boyfriend and I go back to Airbnb to get some other things that were forgotten. Mind you, this is his boyfriend's surprise brunch. The
All right.
surprise hasn't been revealed yet. So we go back, and on the way, that edible started creeping up, and I started to feel even more crazy, and I just didn't know what to do. We get back to the Airbnb to pick up the stuff. I lay down, and it was a wrap. I said, I cannot get back up.
Oh no. You slept through the party? No, you didn't.
They started calling Brian's boyfriend. He was like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to leave him. I was like, just leave me. Just leave me. I'm fine. I'll be fine. Just leave me. Because I know it was a surprise brunch for him. So I was like, you have to get back. He eventually left. Basically, I slept through the whole thing.
Oh no.
And it's
That's not a
something
good
that we
look.
laugh about to this day. I don't know. Apparently, I need a chaperone.
Well, you know, the fact that you flew to Miami and then proceeded to sleep through the event that you flew there for is kind of hysterical because I have seen you
Yeah.
sleep and it's like, oh God, like maybe I'll sleep in 3 hours. And that's no edibles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that sounds very tragic. And it sounds like a good a good lesson learned in your 31st
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Yeah. Earlier in my 20s, I learned that edibles don't really work for me. Now I
Mm-hmm.
know that it's all ingestibles do not work
Yes.
for me.
Okay.
So that was a really big lesson learned while traveling.
Yes.
But it's a story that I love telling because I just think it's so funny about how you think you're going to do something and then life happens and then again you have to pivot.
Oh my God.
I still had a really, really great time though.
Oh, that's
A really
good.
great time.
That's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Well, how about like another travel story from the year? Just to add a little contrast to
uh
that one.
well, I mean, I spent 3 weeks in Europe, which I would have never
Yeah.
thought I would do ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I highly recommend it for any and everyone. Um, that was just a lot of fun. I spent 10 days with one of my favorite people, Beza, traversing Switzerland, and we went to Croatia. And I just feel like that will always just be an unforgettable experience for me. And it also really helped frame the way I want to do international travel moving forward.
Mm.
Like being able to visit different cities and spend time in each one within a country really gives
Mm-hmm.
you a well rounded view on life in that country, especially if you
Mm-hmm.
do spend some time in the city and spend some time on the countryside and maybe spend some time where the culture is like extremely different. I think that really, really helped frame how I want to do and how I have to do international travel moving forward. We did
Yeah.
something similar in the UK, going to Bath and then spending time in London.
Mm-hmm.
And even you went with your mother to a smaller town in South
Yeah.
England.
Bournemouth. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I just think that was absolutely amazing. And I feel like for any type of international travel I do later on in life, if I can set my experience up like that,
Mm-hmm.
I think that will be optimal. Because I actually wanted to do something like that when I went to Thailand, but I didn't get to it. But if I ever go back to Thailand, it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
Chiang Mai, it's going to be Bangkok, and it's going to be hitting Phuket. Um,
Yeah. I think that's a great way to frame it, and you make a really good point. It's true. If you take, um, like I was able to do that in Italy. If you look at Italy, like the geography, like it is so small, but you could seriously have like 10 different experiences in Italy. You know,
mm-hmm,
it's like I was on the Amalfi Coast and I was in Rome and I was in Naples, all completely different. Just a few, like, you know, like a quick little plane ride or a couple like ferry boats away. It's a totally different experience. And I think that's so fascinating. And so, you take that example and you expand it out to even like bigger countries. If you think about like Mexico,
Mm.
if you're going to
Mm-hmm.
Tulum, that's way fucking different than going to Mexico City, which is way different going to Cancun. And so I love that sort of framework or blueprint for spending time in a country. And I think as Americans, when we get to Europe, it's like we look at the map, we're like, oh my God, we can go to this country and that country. It's like people like to count countries, right? Like
Yeah.
I've been to 25 countries, or like there's something about counting countries, but it's like,
Mm-hmm.
why are you rushing through countries when you could just really kind of seep into the different cities in one, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think sometimes when we're counting those countries, right, and counting those passport stamps, a lot of times I think we forget about how many different experiences we can have right here at home, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The cultures between East
50.
Coast to down
Yeah.
south to west to Midwest are so different. The vibes and the energy is so different. The weather and even the times are so
Mm-hmm.
different. So, like having those experiences abroad also reminds me that there's a lot of beauty at home too.
Yeah.
And a bonus is there's no language barrier. So
Yeah.
I always
Well,
like to kind of think of both. Well, mm,
like yeah, you could say that, and then
yes,
you
yes. Cultural dialects are a thing
they are a
here in
thing.
the States.
Uh, like, what's a corner of juice? I don't understand. Um,
Oh.
so
Like it's a corner of juice.
what the hell is a corner of juice? Okay, moving on. Moving forward.
I'm crying. Oh gosh.
So travel as your second anchoring big experience. I love that. I agree with you. It's just impossible not to be so impacted by those experiences, and they're so special to have. And um, there'll be more of them coming, obviously, because we've got the Morpod travel life.
Yeah, definitely. It's always astounding to me that I don't typically or purposefully seek out these dynamic travel experiences. They just kind of happen naturally.
Hmm.
Like it's a part of my everyday life, I feel like. I'm always thinking about, okay, where can I go? Or like, do I need a trip somewhere? And it seems like the people that I surround myself are on that same wavelength. And it allows for just even more fun to be able to spend with your friends exploring the nation and the world at large. So I feel very blessed in that sense, and happy that travel is basically just a constant in my life now in some way, shape, or form.
Hmm.
And it's something that I very cherish. I cherish it a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I would say my third anchoring experience for this year is obviously the More Pod.
Aww.
I mean, it's basically a no-brainer, and it also is just a testament to the things that we can do together. There's just so much more that we can do together than we can do apart. And I really feel like just going through this process with you and having these conversations has led me to learn so much more about myself than I initially thought that I would, you know. I
Mm.
think one of the probably one of the bigger episodes. Actually, let's go back. Starting the podcast,
Yes.
going back to the beginning, back in February when we first had the initial conversation,
Hmm.
um, was a little bit mind blowing. So fast forward to June when we actually launched, and this was amid a time where like we both were going through a lot, like professionally and personally and things of that nature. So to be able to pull it off and to have these really, really great conversations and being able to reach a lot of other people who can kind of relate to these experiences that we talk about
Mm-hmm.
has been very rewarding. Very rewarding, and it's definitely something I will never, ever forget, especially in my 31st year of life.
Aw, warm fuzzies.
I know. I'm just really happy to be able to enter 32,
Mm-hmm.
having these experiences, having these conversations, and being able to find out a little bit more about myself.
Yeah. Mm, I love that. That's so true. It's there are, unlimited ways in which we can grow. But I do feel like this has been like a very kind of special element of personal growth because, it requires you and I to show up and practice what we truly believe, which is, continually pursuing the paths that make us feel truest to who we are. And at the same time, being vulnerable enough to show up and share that with others. Like that's, it takes it to a whole new level, but there's also that natural padded in like layer of accountability. I don't know if you've
Mm.
noticed that, but it's like,
Yes,
oh, I have to show up today because Najee's counting on me, or I have to show up today because Ava's counting on me. And we need to publish this pod on Wednesday because we have some pretty fucking cool listeners who spend an hour with us every week.
I love
And,
that.
that's it's very special.
It definitely is, and it's not something I take for granted, only because, I mean, as we all know, the pod wasn't on my vision board, but it's been such an amazing and enriching experience for me thus far. I mean, being able to have some of these conversations, like the adult friendship conversation, was a little bit of therapy for me in a little bit, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I think our session with Kelsey and learning about human design was absolutely mind blowing for me. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, when I learned my life purpose was to basically embody love and encourage others to like love life and love themselves and like love society and things of that nature, it really kind of started to click for me a little bit more. And that session with Kelsey also is a constant reminder to get out of my head. Get
Ooh,
out of my
yeah.
head. Live in the moment. Live in the present. What does your heart feel? It's just like these things don't come easy, but when you're able to learn more about yourself and learn a little bit more about what makes you you, and you're actually able to sit in that, like it kind of unlocks so many other possibilities to how your life can go and just how your thought process can go moving forward too. It just makes it
Mm-hmm.
feel a little easier. So, like when I say that the pod was definitely an anchoring experience in my life this past year, hell yeah, I mean that, like from the bottom of my heart. And I'm just excited to see like what else can we talk about? Like
Yeah.
what other topics can we discuss that, resonates with a lot of people, or what else is happening in society is just pissing us off and we want to talk about it for an hour. Like
Mm-hmm.
the possibilities are endless.
Endless. Catch us every Wednesday.
Absolutely.
Oh, those are really, really great reflections. Do you have anything that you would like to add before we talk about your rich bitch experiences, your manifestations for the next spin around the sun?
I don't think so. When thinking about what I really want to do in this next year and what rich bitch experiences I want to manifest,
Mm-hmm.
the number one is always going to be travel.
Yes.
It's always going to be like, what's that next major travel experience? And I definitely hope it's going to be something very, very like enlightening and different for this next year. Um, Before my European trek earlier this year, I hadn't been out the country since 2019, like the beginning. So that 3 year gap was way too long.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have to start planning our next international one quite
Mhm.
soon. So that's definitely something I want to experience.
Say less. It's already done.
Hmm. Gosh. I think another rich bitch experience that I want to sit in more are more spa days. I need more spa days in
Okay.
my life. I really, really do.
Wait, what kind
I
of like what's your favorite spa treatment?
all of them. But
All of them?
typically it'll start with a very nice facial,
Okay.
followed by full body massage,
Okay.
then a body scrub.
Okay.
And then the next day I'll probably get like a mani pedi and then my eyebrows.
Wait, it's
Um,
a 2-day experience?
Ideally, yes. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't do it often enough, but
I'm
I
just
love luxury spas.
I'm just helping you clarify the vision. We've got to be
I
very
appreciate you.
specific with these manifestations. So,
I
more
want at
2-day
least four of
spa
those
days.
next year.
Okay.
At least four next year. I deserve it. So definitely need those more frequently. Um, in addition, I definitely want to move closer to figuring out what type of entrepreneur I'm going to be. Um,
Yes.
so that's super exciting. And let's travel, spa, entrepreneur. Oh, and next year is really just focusing and sitting in self love, love of others, and really kind of like building upon that, making that more of like an everyday thing that's very intentional. I really want to be intentional with that more. I really want to open my heart to like make those connections and be more authentic, and just kind of seeing where I can go with that. I feel like that's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And I think each year I make steady strides on getting to exactly where I want to be. And I
Hmm.
just look forward to continuing that journey. I mean, not everything happens overnight. And I know something like that, being able to be more comfortable being you and using your voice more and um, being intentional about your connections with people and things of that nature, those things don't happen overnight. Like a
Hmm.
lot of that really, really revolves around either building up the courage or just building up the self-awareness to know exactly kind of what some of those faults are or what's holding you back, and then being able to intentionally act upon improving those and changing a lot of the habits, because I mean these are habits I've had for like ever.
Hmm.
So it's a journey. It's a
Yeah.
journey. It's a journey that I love for me. And I look forward to kind of extending that journey moving forward. I've made some really, really great strides, and looking back, I'm kind of proud of myself, to be honest.
Hell yeah. I'm proud of
Yeah.
you too.
Thanks. Thanks. And you know the more pod um has a lot to do with that. So I'm happy we're here.
Well, happy birthday, my love. The Virgo to our Virquarius, the
Yes,
David to
God.
my Alexis, my right hand travel partner. I wish you so much happiness in this next year, and I can't wait to watch you achieve all of your goals, continue growing, manifesting those rich bitch experiences. And I want to join in on one of these like back to back spa days,
Absolutely. I think we should definitely fit one in one of our future travel episodes.
one of our TBD to be disclosed locations.
Absolutely. A luxury spa experience. Your thing can be rose gardens. Maybe my thing could be luxury spa experiences.
There you go. You found your travel thing.
Oh
Yes,
gosh.
perfect. Okay, so let's get into love it or leave it
Yay.
because it wouldn't be a week of the more pod without it.
Mm-hmm,
Najee, what
mm-hmm.
are you loving and leaving this week?
Well, I am absolutely loving that my birthday's today. Just I'm
Hey.
just gonna say life is a gift. And I want everyone to know that. I
Mhm.
don't want anyone to forget that. And I tell myself this all the time. Life is a gift. It is such, a privilege to be able to be alive, to have these conversations with you, to be able to experience all the good and the bad that happens with life. Uh, I just feel like I sound so trippy right now, but like when it comes to like the nature and travel and the sky and the birds and it's such a blessing to be alive another year because honestly, not everyone makes it. So that's definitely something to be happy for and to really, really kind of cherish and not take for granted. So I try not to. So, loving
Mhm.
my birthday,
We're loving
loving
life
Virgo season, loving Beyonce, Queen of all Virgos. Yeah, I'm
always.
loving that. Heart is full. Um, however, comma, I'm leaving this Mercury retrograde, like just
Mhm.
overall. This has undoubtedly been just the weirdest, most bizarre retrograde that I've ever experienced with like just all of the mishaps that have been happening either with my car or with the house. It's just craziness. It's just craziness. So we are leaving all that behind once we
Yeah.
shift out of my birthday bubble, which will probably be for the rest of the month, all that's going to stop. And we're going to be on the up and up, good vibes only, good things only, good experiences only. Um,
Mhm.
and that's where my focus is. I'm sorry. Like, it is what it is. I'm leaving this Mercury retrograde behind, period.
I will join you in that. This one has been ridiculous. I mean, people are driving crazy. The Wi-Fi doesn't fucking work. Like
Mm-mm.
the fact that this is being recorded is a fucking miracle.
So weird.
Communications are like falling through or like old shit's coming back up. Had this
Yeah.
conversation a month ago, but I guess we're going back in. Old people try to come back around. It's a no.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Unsubscribe. Leaving that.
Unsubscribe. I'm just hoping that like everything mechanical and technological in my life will get its act together because I'm on the move. I need that to be on the move too. Okay? We're busy.
Yes. We need the shit to work for us so we can make
Please.
moves.
Right. Ugh, whatever. Anyway, Ava, what are you loving and leaving this week?
So I'll start with the leavings. So I'll continue to layer on top of the retrograde with a very specific leave it this week. So I, on occasion, like to have like a spoonful of peanut butter in something, whether it's like in my oatmeal, in my chia seed pudding, on an apple. Like I like peanut butter.
I love
However,
that.
when you go to the peanut butter aisle at any fucking grocery store, it's like the things that they put in peanut butter that should not be in it have me like reaching a boiling point. You
Mm-hmm.
can't just buy a jar of smooth, creamy peanut butter that doesn't have like 10 other fillers in it, that doesn't also require refrigeration. See
Mm,
how worked up I am?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It has to be stirred every fucking time. I like cannot find a good peanut butter. So if anyone has a peanut butter recommendation for me, I will gladly take it. Yesterday I bought one and it was a huge mistake because it was a brand that I used to buy, but this version of peanut butter has coconut oil in it. So I'm like, well, coconut oil is like a healthier oil to mix into a peanut butter than some other things, fully
Mm-hmm.
forgetting that coconut has a flavor. So I have some Hawaiian Tropic ass peanut butter if anybody would like it. I don't have the receipt. I can't return it. I've tried it. It's terrible. I don't want to throw it away. But it's giving suntan lotion
Ew.
and I'm mad.
Tropical
I know.
peanut butter. That would make me mad too.
It's nasty. It's so gross.
It's giving pineapples on a pizza.
So it's giving pineapples on a pizza. Now that I have that off my chest, which I realize that's not a real problem, right? Like life is good. I'm out here complaining about some coconut oil peanut butter.
Yeah, I think the larger issue is just all the additives that America likes to put in their
Mm-hmm.
foods. It's just so strange to me. What is the reason?
It's so strange and it's really unnecessary.
It frustrates me. So trust me, I understand.
What am I loving though? It is officially the most perfect fall weather here in Minneapolis.
Hmm.
It's sunny, high of 79 degrees,
Mm.
no humidity, a light breeze.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely perfect. This phase lasts for like maybe 2 weeks. So you really just got to like live it, love it, be outside. Although the allergies are terrible, but the weather is great. So there's a lot of personal sacrifice going on here, but it does put me in such a nice mood. I'm appreciating the cooler weather because London was so fucking record breaking hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Minneapolis, it was also very hot when I got back. It felt like the Everglades.
Oh God.
So I'm having a little respite before I go to the desert, which will also be really hot.
Oof, Palm Springs, baby. My gosh. Well, the fall
Ooh.
equinox is upon us, so let's embrace it. It's here. It's getting to that kind of perfect level down here as well. It's still a little warmer than
Mm-hmm.
I'd like, but it's a lot more bearable than Georgian summers.
Georgian summers. Oof.
Right. It's too much. Well, I'm going to continue to have a great birthday. And in the meantime, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, rate and review us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And tune in every Wednesday to hear the things that make us and discover a thing or two to make you more you. Bye.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.